You're listening to the Coop Homeschool Podcast.
This is your podcast for community, humility, and joyful fun in homeschooling. I'm Mandy.
I'm Jessica.
And this is The
Coop.
Coop. Winter Traditions is today. I know. I'm so excited.
Me too.
And you'll have to watch this on the YouTube because you can tell we're all decked out for it.
Yes.
Yeah. Traditions are so important, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then we're going to also talk about our winter traditions as how they pertain to the family, like our own family, and then with friends, and then just ourselves even.
Totally.
And then just some kind of takeaways to help you plan your winter traditions in the future.
Yes.
But let's get started first with our scoop on the coop.
Okay. So this scoop on the coop was perfect for this episode because it is a tradition and it's Nutcracker.
That's perfect.
If you can't tell, I get quite obsessed with Nutcracker beginning in September all the way through December. And so my dance studio is doing our show this weekend. So it's December 10th, 11th, and 12th. Mm-hmm. And then
my birthday weekend.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. My daughter's in 2 shows. I stage managed the production, and so we're actually this week going into our tech and dress rehearsals where we're in the theater getting the lights programmed, and then we're performing with a live orchestra.
Oh, how fun. I bet you get a huge adrenaline rush.
I do. I love it so much. Mm-hmm. And it's fun because last year we didn't get our live orchestra. We didn't even get a live audience. It was December 2020. And so we did a recording. So we still got the kids on stage, but they only performed for a camera and their teachers. Mm-hmm. And then it was edited together to make our typical Nutcracker production. So it's a little disappointing for performers to do it that way. We're not actors. We don't perform like that. So this year is super exciting. I'm sure all my students are just going to be so excited to be on the stage.
How fun.
Yeah.
Well, my scoop is, it's one of my traditions as well.
Oh, funny.
So since we started having kids, I guess, about 11 years ago, we would decorate the day after Thanksgiving. So it's just like a couple weeks ago. And it's such a fun tradition because we have Christmas music playing. There's football going when the right teams are on or whatever. And then I'm decorating. We're having mulled wine. And so it was just a fun time. It always is. And last year I was sick. So just with a cold, but so the spouse had to do the decorating and not as much got decorated, and I followed up later. So we didn't have our epic day as we normally do. And then also the kids will usually start the Advent, but we're not doing that this year because we are home most of December. So we didn't start the Advent a week and a half ago or whatever. But so yeah, it's just a really great time. We watch Elf, every year, and it's fun. That was always a day we look forward to, the kids look forward to. Yeah. And I dig up the ornaments and stuff. So this year we had the Las Vegas ornament because we went to Las Vegas again with them and bought a Las Vegas ornament to hang on the tree to like represent that little family moment. So that was fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So let's get to winter traditions.
Yes.
First, I want to just mention the importance of tradition. So there was this article on psychologytoday.com called Happiness and Tradition, Restore Your Spirit by Embracing Traditions. And I'm just going to read you a little quote from there to remind, though some of us are into traditions and some of us are, but here's a reason that you might want to be into it. Change is, quote, change is constant, whether it's in relationships, careers, or seasons. Transition tends to unmask unsettled feelings that manifest as a nervous anticipation of what is to come. One of the best ways to deal with such shifts is to be mindful of what is stable. Take, for example, traditions. Embracing family customs or personal rituals can be a powerful grounding force and a reminder that in an evolving world, some things are constant.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
It does. Okay, so in the past on our podcast for numerous episodes, we have talked about various seasonal traditions. So episode 15, we talk about building fall traditions. Episode 22, thankfulness. 23, giving. episode 34, spring traditions and summer traditions in episode 41. We also, if you go to our website, to the blog, thecoophomeschool.com, and you click on resources, the drop-down menu, there's seasonal. And so there's like blogs about school days and traditions for like St. Patrick's Day and the Nutcracker theme day, all things that are repeatable that you can keep doing. And the Nutcracker theme day was your input on that for sure. And then schooling traditions, episode 6, we talk about prepping for the first day of school, and that's a very traditional day for homeschoolers, especially. Last day of school, or if you have a 100th day of school, any milestone you have, you might have traditions with that. And those are all things that the kids can expect and look forward to in their lives. So let's dive into winter traditions that we have like a tip for each. And we've divided up into categories with family, with friends, and then just yourself, or one that you plan for yourself and maybe somebody else.
Totally.
So let's start off with family. Do you have any tips that you can think of kind of off the cuff?
Tips? I find something that is special for all the members in your family, because I think that's what makes people want to repeat it.
Yeah.
If it's not special to everybody, then not everyone's going to want to participate in it year after year, and therefore it's not a family tradition. So that's
I love it.
Off the cuff.
Yeah, that's exactly. And remembering the family, and then you want it to be something that doesn't feel hectic or obligatory.
Right.
Well, we do this every year. We have to do this, even when nobody's like dying to do it.
Right.
And then timing always matters too. You know, who's busy, who's not busy. Is this the right time of year to do it? Maybe waiting a month, you know, depending on if it still can happen. You know?
Sure.
So as a family, do you have any traditions you'd like to share?
Yes. So most of these are holiday related.
Yeah.
So even though...
it's winter, but winter is a major holiday.
It is. And winter begins with Christmas. And so that makes it extra special, you know, because I think we all think winter starts sooner, but it really doesn't.
Yeah.
So we love getting our new ornament each year. So finding that new ornament, making it... you know, we don't really have a rule about it, but it's fun to add to the tree each year. We love our big Christmas Eve party with our big family. Some years it's the entire extended family on my husband's side, and other years it's the smaller family, just as brothers and wives and children. And so that's an event that's always set in stone. You know, we are always doing Christmas Eve with that family, and that's really special. I love to do Christmas lights because that was a tradition my dad always had. It used to be Christmas Eve, but now it's moved to a different day. And so I try to coordinate it with my parents when they're up for joining us. And I make hot cocoa at home. I put it in our to-go mugs for anyone who wants it. And then we all hop in the car and we go drive around different neighborhoods. So we've been to some of the biggest ones in the area. And then we've just been to our own neighborhoods just to see what our neighbors are doing. But I love the Christmas light tradition. This one's not specifically holiday, but we love going to our local safari park. It used to be called the Wild Animal Park, but they have a carousel there, and it's beautiful at Christmas time. You go there when it's just dark, and it's so fun to ride that carousel. And that's a tradition we started with Sophia when she was 1 or 2.
Oh, that's sweet.
And so that one's really special to us. And then my wedding anniversary and my 2 kids' birthdays happen to be in winter.
Wow.
So our anniversary is actually January 2nd. So it still feels very holiday-ish. And so we usually find a time to have a date together. If not on our anniversary, then really close to it. And then we're still getting used to August's birthday being so soon after New Year's. You know, we haven't really done his own kind of party yet, and I'm not really sure how I would handle that yet, but we've done cute little fun things for him. You know, we've had you over, and then, of course, grandparents and cousins and done stuff for him. And then Sophia, usually, she's not until February, she gets a day, and she's Groundhog Day, baby, so that's another
cool.
winter day.
Yeah.
That makes it kind of fun, and, you know, we've kind of let her pick her different parties over the years, and it's evolved, and super fun.
Yeah, for me, I have the day after Thanksgiving, which I mentioned in the Scoop on the Coop, and that really kicks off the winter for us. Even if it's like not quite winter yet, It's close enough. And then we usually do Christmas lights, but last year or a year before, hearing that you do hot cocoa, now I'm like, last year we did the lights and we went through Starbucks and got hot cocoa for whoever wanted hot cocoa, and that does make it extra special. Yeah. And we also do an Advent book. So every day the doors open. It's called the Advent book, actually.
Right. That's cute.
And the doors open, and so sometimes we start at the beginning every day, and they get the whole story over and over again, and it just grows. And then sometimes if it's late, we just open one. We don't do all the doors again. And then we have a special thing we do on Christmas Eve, usually with my parents. And then we always do a snow day in January.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's usually been the week after Christmas because that's when it snows locally. Right. So we've done it now 3 years, I think, 3 years in a row. That's because it happened to happen.
Right.
That week.
And you've gone to different places because I think last year you asked specifically about...
We've done Palomar all 3 times, but we've done different spots.
Got it.
Each time.
You were asking about a specific spot maybe last year.
Been. Yeah. And not sure because, looking at the Facebook page, you need chains or you don't need chains. And we're in a little van, right? So we don't have 4-wheel drive. So we have to be careful about all that. So those are kind of some of the things we do as a family.
Right.
And do you have anything that you do just specifically with Jake, with the spouse?
Our anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for us, Marcus and I don't really do anything specific for the two of us, except we love mulled wine. So when I went to Germany a few years ago, since then we've been doing mulled wine at Christmas, and then we love to have a fire in a fireplace. So all of December and January, for the most part, we have a fire in a fireplace almost nightly.
That's awesome.
So that's really fun. And then anything specific with just the kids, like something that wouldn't be considered family thing, just...
Yeah. So I didn't say my biggest one, which is Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Forgot that one. It's at the top of my list in all caps, and somehow it wasn't the first thing I said. But Nutcracker is actually super fun because it involves the whole family in some ways, because my husband always comes to the live production, but actually for the kids... August was loving it last year. And so we ended up watching, just me and the kids, several different productions of the Nutcracker, including the Macaulay Culkin movie version. We live streamed a couple because it was 2020. And so I got to finally see the San Francisco Ballet's Nutcracker, which was a bucket list thing for me. And then I got to do that with Sophia in August. And so that was really fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, we do a lot of Christmas movies. So I think Nutcracker was on there. My husband took one of my kids one of the years to when Nutcracker actually came out. But we do a lot of Christmas movies at the house, just me and the kids as a school day or whatever. And but amusement parks. So you brought up Safari Park. Right. Amusement park's a big one that I love to go to amusement parks at Christmas time because it's decorated.
Yeah, it's fun.
So festively. And then Christmas themed lessons. I might do a lot of we're going to make gifts for people on these certain days or, and then movie nights. And then we usually have some kind of Coop Christmas party, like with our co-op. Right. Whether it's at night, sometimes last year it was the Crayons Christmas.
Right, we did a daytime.
And we did a daytime one, and we all came dressed festive for Christmas, but also dressed as the color of a crayon. Right. And that was really cool. And then, so I love getting to celebrate Christmas with our co-op in some way. And this year, we're doing, actually, just this week, coming up, we're doing our Coop Christmas party at my house with a hot chocolate bar and a movie outside, and the co-op agrees to what movie and stuff. So that's a cool thing. Okay, so now let's talk with friends. Whether it's our kids' friends or our own friends, what are some things that are traditional for you to do with friends?
So Nutcracker.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an every year thing, but my super close best friend from when we were children and we met at ballet, we've been seeing Nutcrackers together for years. So it's not something we specifically do every year, but it's something special. So she either comes and sees my show, or we've gone together to support a friend in a different show. And so that's a small thing that we do together as friends. Then our kids, we started our own little homeschool Christmas day last year. I don't know if we did anything the year before.
No,
but it's become this little thing that was super exciting for us because it was really neat because we could make it very gospel centered, and we were free to do that between our two families, and then the kids just loved it. I mean, we had so much more planned. I mean, there was so much we could have done together. Yeah. And so now, I'm looking forward to our day together too.
Yeah. Well, we wanted a day where we could worship our Lord.
Right.
That we both trust and hope in, and pray for the whole season, and just be thankful for that God became man and came to earth to save us. So
totally,
we loved being able to share that with our kids last year together.
Right. It's neat to get to be able to do that with another family who's not your family.
Yeah.
Because that's not always the experience that you have. I didn't have that experience growing up, but it's really neat to be able to give that to my children.
Yeah. And then we also exchanged gifts, had like hot cocoa with candy canes or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So, I have the same thing. And then I also did a movie night with another really good friend, a homeschool friend. And we decided to make that a tradition too.
That's cute.
So, and she hosted it last year, and she's probably going to host it this year too. So that'll be really fun. And we just come in our jammies and watch a movie, and
that's awesome.
Eat some grub, and
right.
And that's when the kids do their gifts too.
Right.
So I really like having those special moments, and it's just really fun. And then I have what's called Perfect Day. So since I was 6 years old, another mother and daughter started doing this with my mom and me. And now we're grown and we have daughters. And so for 8 years, we did American Girl at Christmas time.
So cool.
And it was always the first weekend of December. But last year we didn't do it because of COVID. And this year it was just too busy for my friend to do it. So we're just going to do it sometime. So we've lost that tradition, but it was a really great tradition because everything was decorated so festively. And, but it was a perfect day. Right. It was really great. And that's why too, because I grew up doing that, I wanted to find, a mother-daughter that I could do stuff like that with.
Totally.
So that's why I'm really thankful for our Christian Christmas school day that we're doing, you know, and this year we're going to involve the husbands in it as well. And so hopefully it'll just continue to be like a school day / family day together. And then I'm thankful for the movie night with, just as long as we can keep growing those like mother-daughter things and family children things, that's something we can have for the next 20 years and then do when we're older.
Right.
Let's
hopefully
show up in jammies. Let's show up in our jammies and watch, the Peanuts Christmas movie, So, and then trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, with friends, Valentine's Day. So that's in February.
That's still in winter.
Yeah. So we do that in February because we know we want to give gifts to each other. We're getting together with our besties and giving gifts or doing a movie night or whatever. But we're not getting together with our whole Coop moms group because we do our Coop group party and it's such a busy time. Why do it at that time? So we have a whole episode about Valentine's Day you can check out, but and we'll link it on the podcast. But in February, it's really great to do a Valentine's Day where we do exchange in some way.
Right. You feel relaxed because it's not right on top of the holidays. It's not like it's the second week in January and you just really want your normal routine back. You get back into the flow of things and you get this really neat event to look forward to. And I don't know about all you married people out there, but Valentine's Day, while it's still a nice day to sometimes celebrate, it's never been a special day for my husband and I. We've never gone out of our way to celebrate it. We'll do little things.
Well, it's always crowded on that day. So usually that day is like a pizza movie family night or game night with our kids.
Right.
Which you only get them for a short period of time. Right. Why not have the love day be about the family while they're still living at home?
Yeah. But it's neat to make a big deal with your girls.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It is really neat.
I have one more that I
yeah.
do with my friends. We do an annual gingerbread decorating
fun.
day. And so my friend always bakes the gingerbread cookies, and then she has all the decorations available. And
That's really cute.
yeah, I think one year or maybe multiple years, she even does little placemats for them to make their cookies on that they also get to take home.
That's so cute. Do I know this person?
Yeah, it's my bestie.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's really neat to have that tradition since our two oldest kids were babies together.
That's so cool.
You know, so that's a neat thing that she started because that's something that's special to her, and she loves to hostess it.
Yeah.
I think she has a gingerbread dress.
That's really cute.
She has a gingerbread dress.
That's
she
really
even
cute.
wears. Yeah, it's super cute. So it's really fun. We already have it on the calendar, you know, because she's a planner too, and so it's on the calendar to make sure it can happen because it's special to her.
Yeah.
So she wants to know what my month is like, you know, to make sure she gets me.
Totally. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to just yourself. This
yes.
is like a nice indulgent thing.
Okay. Nutcracker. I know it's ridiculous, but I have this tradition of getting myself a new Nutcracker item every year. So because I start teaching Nutcracker all the way in September, I like to have a different t-shirt to wear every week. And I don't mind, you know, repeating it once or twice during the duration of Nutcracker
I don't think
season.
you need to. I think you have enough t-shirts. You probably don't need to.
But I like getting something new. So I also have Nutcracker socks and Nutcracker earrings. I just it was actually a gift, but I got a Nutcracker hat last year.
Well, you're wearing your Nutcracker earrings.
And I'm wearing the hat.
Yeah.
And then this year, our studio was doing a keepsake sweatshirt or commemorative sweatshirt. So I was like, oh, perfect. I needed a sweatshirt to add. There's this really cute, ugly Nutcracker sweater, you know, like
cool.
an ugly sweater that I was debating getting. I even got Nutcracker leggings, but I don't wear leggings out. I mean, you know me.
Yeah, why don't
I'll wear
you?
my yoga pants when I'm teaching.
Yeah, you've got that dance bod. You totally could.
It's a mom bod, but we'll say it's a dancer bod.
Stop it.
I'm just kidding. But I think because I teach in my yoga pants, I don't want to wear leggings. And then these particular leggings are patterned, and you know me.
Yeah,
I'm not really a pattern girl.
Yeah, her donut road trip leggings are her jammies.
They're my jams. Yeah,
she
my
can't wear those
jammies.
out. That's
It's too much.
It is too much.
So the Nutcracker ones were too much because I didn't want people staring at it. But I have like these loud, obnoxious Nutcracker
hilarious.
socks. So I have a few other items on my list for someday, but it's been kind of neat because now it's a thing that my students look for each year. Like
that's
I've become
fun.
that teacher, and they're
You
like,
should be
"Which
a
one this
Nutcracker
week?"
for Halloween.
Yeah. So that would be the next. Oh, I need a scarf because I also love wearing a scarf in the winter, especially to teach in.
Yeah.
And so I need a Nutcracker scarf, but there aren't good ones. So I've looked for a Nutcracker fabric. But
You need a black one with little nutcrackers on them.
I know. See that one. Like, are you talking really dangling, like real Nutcrackers? Because that would be really loud and funny.
Would be ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
That would be what you wear to an ugly sweater party. Yeah.
Done. Okay. Outside of Nutcracker, I usually let myself watch Love Actually.
Oh, that's so funny.
Is it on your list?
So I used to own it.
Right.
And so I used to watch it, but I have to tell you, the thematic music playing every 5 minutes got to me so much.
That's funny.
I know. It got to me so much.
You watched it too much.
I did. That I gifted it. I got rid of it. Yeah.
That's funny. No, I like watching it. I don't really know of many people who really like it. And so I usually just watch it by myself one night.
I love Keira Knightley and she's in it. And then
she's not my favorite storyline. Luckily,
I
she's
know.
not in it enough.
But she's only like 19 in that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What's your favorite storyline in that?
I think I like the Emma Thompson.
I was going to say that too. I love how real that is.
Yeah, it's very real and it hurts you a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
And then I love the, what's his name? Liam Neeson and his little boy. It's so cute.
Yeah, and then it's not Heidi Klum. Who's the model that he ends up with? Anyways, let's move on from Love Actually.
Yep. And then finally, on Christmas Eve, I get to be Mrs. Claus. And so it's a tradition that Jake and I started with Sophia when she was old enough to kind of start the whole Santa Claus thing. I wasn't super into Santa Claus, but my husband was like, no, she's going to have the magic of Santa Claus. So I said, okay. And then we decided Santa Claus wouldn't be getting her a big gift. It'd be something kind of small and something to go with something else.
Yeah.
But then Mrs. Claus will write a note.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and some people devote all of the gifts to be from Santa, and which is fine.
Sure.
But I love my kids knowing that I'm giving them gifts.
Right, because I love you and I'm choosing to do this. And,
So I like
I've heard the different arguments too about not every Santa Claus or parent can afford the same things. And so if you're going out there and your Santa Claus is giving your kid an Xbox, but then this kid only gets a chocolate bar, you know, like...
Yeah. I grew up, it was always just
disparity?
the stocking.
Right.
Santa was only the stocking. So that's what we do for our kids.
I like getting the credit because I like stuffing the things in the stockings.
Oh,
I
funny,
like to be thoughtful and get my family gifts. And so I don't want it to be... So Jake and I have come up with a fun way of having it be something small. Like one year we bought Sophia tickets to go see Raffi in concert. He was touring in San Diego.
That doesn't sound very small to me.
No. We got her.
Oh, you guys did. Yeah.
We got her the gift. And then Santa gave her a kazoo. So that she could kazoo along with Raffi.
Yeah.
And then Mrs. Claus wrote a note saying,
precious.
Santa heard about your tickets. And so he thought it would be fun to give you, it was a slide whistle. This slide whistle to go along with it. And then usually Mrs. Claus knits her something. So it's me.
Yeah.
I make her something, or I'll buy her.
Spoiler alert.
I know. Or I'll buy her like a scarf or a hat or a pair of tights and say that Mrs. Claus made it. And it's just so like cute. Something. So she accidentally found a Mrs. Claus letter on my computer.
Well, you know she knows, right?
I don't know.
Oh no, I haven't told you. She outed it to our neighbor homeschool friend. Let me just say.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'll tell you about that later.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
My kids told me about it.
I'm sorry. See, I didn't know she knew, and so we haven't had the conversation of don't
just
talk
keep
about
acting it. Keep acting it though, because my mom did that my whole life. And
funny.
It was fun. She still does it, even though she knows my kids already always
So I
knew.
wonder if it's one of those things, because I definitely remember getting to the age where I thought, I'm pretty sure he's not real. But what if he is?
Yeah.
And now I don't believe in him.
Oh.
So anyway, I'll keep it going, but it makes me sad if she just ruined somebody else's Santa, but yet
well,
she kind
my
of
daughter
still
tried
believes.
to fix it, but it was very loud in her whispering, according to my son.
No. Okay, well, sometimes this friend's listening. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'll tell you about it after.
Okay.
I
Apparently
forgot.
you
This is like a
about
month.
it. Oh
This
my
is like a month ago. I didn't even think about it.
Anyway, and then I love being able to do the final touches to the stockings because that's usually my gig. And so I love, like I've already started collecting stuff for stockings.
Yeah,
and
totally.
now.
All year round.
Yeah, or now.
Okay,
early.
No.
And so then I love being able to go through it all and be like, oh yeah, they have this. Yeah, they got that.
So for just myself, I love wrapping gifts before the day that the tree goes up, which is on the day after Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then when the tree goes up, I love putting as many gifts underneath as possible.
Nice.
So then we have
the
whole month.
In.
Yeah. We have the whole month to enjoy wrapped gifts under the tree.
That's so fun.
And but while I'm wrapping them, my tradition is the door is shut. The way is shut. And I watch The Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh. So fun. We were just talking about your Lord of the Rings watching in my house today.
And how awesome it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. What were you saying?
I don't remember the context, but Jake and Sophia talk about Lord of the Rings often because they've watched it now together.
Yeah.
And he keeps trying to get her to read the books. But
Yeah.
it's pretty mature. So I would say when she's 12-ish, I think that would be a really reasonable time for her personality in particular to be ready for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. Anyway. So
I watch Lord of the Rings while I do that. I've been doing that for
ever
a decade at least. They came out in 2001 or so, same time as Harry Potter. Yeah. I've been doing that since.
That's not a decade, girlfriend.
That's 2 decades. Yeah. The other thing I do is I watch Little Women with Winona Ryder.
Oh, yes.
And the thing is, I don't let the kids see it because I want them to read the book first.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for that.
Right.
But I love the Winona Ryder version because I love Winona Ryder.
Right.
But I've seen all the versions, and that's the storyline I like the best with Lori.
Small segue here. Segue or whatever. Do you have a time frame for when you want the girls to be able to read it?
I want them to. Ruby would be fine. My 9-year-old would be fine,
Yeah.
but I want my 7-year-old to appreciate it and love it.
Because Sophia started reading it the first time. She read the abridged one already at 7. And then I think she's almost ready for the long one. She hasn't asked for it yet, but I've let her know that the long version's available. And I reread it recently and was like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. I thought there was more romance
to connect
than there
to
was.
the romance. Is there not?
There is and there isn't. But because most of it is told through Joe, it's very practical.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like there wasn't quite as much as you would think. It was very matter of fact romance.
Yeah, maybe that's why I love the Winona Ryder one because
it's more whimsical.
Lori is just so anyway, so I usually watch that every year, but I do have the VHS version.
Oh gosh.
So if it's not available on like Netflix or Amazon Prime, then I don't watch it. So I don't think I watched it last year. I don't know what was happening. I maybe had to pay for it. So I was like, I won't watch it this year. Yeah. And then the day after Christmas, I always go to our local farm I can literally see into. They have a couple country stores that everything is 50% off.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So I buy like future gifts for people that day. Like I'm thinking of birthdays. I have a list.
Right.
I actually scope it out before Christmas, hoping certain things will still be there after Christmas. And they have certain things that are like $100 jewelry now I can get for $50. $80 purses I can now get for $40. So I can give nicer gifts, So I love that day. That is just like, and usually my mom or my husband will give me a $50 gift card there to buy for myself.
Right.
So that's really fun too. So then I actually feel freedom to buy for me, which I almost never feel freedom to buy for me because that's just frivolous, Right. And then also my dad and I usually will do a Disney day with or without the kids. And he always buys me a Disney Christmas hat. So I love doing that. Disneyland is so festive and their Christmas decorations start November 1st. Nice. So there's 2 months to do it. And actually they keep it going into the first couple weeks of January. Right. So right before COVID started, we did that whole week. Once it opened to the passes, we did like 4 days in a row before they took all the Christmas decorations down. So that was really fun. All right. So now I have 3 ways that you can make sure your winter traditions happen.
Nice.
It's just a little how-to.
Okay.
So 1, ask yourself some planning questions. Like ask yourself and your spouse, what do you enjoy doing the most with your kids during winter?
Yeah, love it.
How can you make that a kickoff to winter or a regular thing, a tradition? Okay, ask the same thing to your children. What did you love about winter last year? What did you love doing? And what is something you would like to do again this year? It doesn't have to be something, we've been doing this every year.
Right.
What is just simply something we did last year that you want to repeat?
Right.
And then you can do it the next year. What's something we did last year? And it could end up being the same thing over and over again. And then you really have a tradition that your family loves.
Right.
Like you were saying in your tips, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. And then number 2, schedule. Plan your winter calendar in September for yourself and your friends. So we already set our date for our school day back in August.
Yes.
Our Christmas school day.
Yep.
And then like a month and a half ago, one of my other homeschool friends, I said, we're doing our jamming Christmas movie night. When do you want to do that? We got that on the calendar. Right. So you want to schedule in like September, August, or October, all your Christmas dates, because otherwise they won't happen.
No.
You can't wait till December to be like, when are we getting together? And Perfect Day that I was talking about earlier, where we used to go to American Girl. Now we're just doing a mother-daughter tea. Right. And we're leaving the girls at home, the kids at home. And we're going back to what we used to do. We used to do a tea. We scheduled that back like in spring.
Right.
Just to make sure. Yeah. Just to make sure this happened.
Yeah.
So
I think that's really key. Families like mine, we have our Nutcracker every year. So, this particular year, it was a different weekend, which ended up being really critical to the rest of my planning for the month. And, knowing those dates back in August were really important. And then the same with, I knew my daughter had a piano recital coming up. So because these are activities she has chosen, that's going to impact what we can and can't do. But because I knew them when we had our co-op meeting and we all had our calendars and we were planning things, when we were proposing dates, I had them on my calendar and could say, oh, that's not a good night for me. And then it turns out there's no good night, at that point when you don't want group activities to be the week before Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want for us, we don't really want to be around people for a week before Christmas because we don't want to bring sickness to Christmas.
Yeah.
And at least if you have a buffer there of about a week, timing is everything. So that's part of the scheduling. I know my husband has big board meetings that he's in charge of making sure they happen at the end of January. So I know for the 2 weeks leading up to January, I really can't plan anything for him. And so just keeping the timing in mind, we know you guys have Nutcracker, so we know Saturdays are kind of out until after like the second weekend of December. Yeah. Those kinds of things, just keeping in the timing so you can schedule, make sure they happen.
Totally.
And then number 3, so one was do your planning questions with your spouse and your children. Number 2, schedule ahead of time.
Yes.
And then 3, reflect. Put a date on the calendar now to spend 5 minutes after winter is over. End of February. Put a date on there to say, reflect.
Right.
Look back on the winter, on what made for special moments for you and memories for you and your kids and your husband that you think you would want to consider doing again next year. So then in September, when you go into the planning phase, you have that in your planner from the previous year. Totally. That what worked and didn't work. And so many of us don't reflect back, and so we don't fix what went wrong. We don't remember, actually looking at lights was really hectic and really hard. Or actually trying to do all these things, I just need to pick 3. But that in February. You might not remember that in September.
No. When you start agreeing to things.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I want to do that. And then you forget that
it's too much.
It's too much.
Totally. Okay. So, and the other tradition I want to mention that I forgot to mention is New Year's Eve. We usually do this. We do our goal setting. Right. And for the year, and we do a lot of family game and family reflection. Having that time to make sure there's one day you're going to be together as a family, do games, time capsule, whatever it is, something, vision boards, playing all day together. Right. Because otherwise the Christmas break or winter time will go by and you actually may not have just been together and present. Right.
You're doing and doing home. And doing and doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's time for the Coop Q A, where we answer your questions.
If you have a question you want answered, head over to the podcast page on our website, thecoophomeschool.com, or email us, mamahens@thecoophomeschool.com.
All right, so I have our question.
Yes.
Very simple. When do you start winter break?
Oh, now?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. We talk about how we're really we're very structured. We make sure they do math regularly. That's probably the one thing I make my kids do regularly is math, probably 4 times a week, which is unheard of for any other subject, right? But by going into December, it's wait, now we have all these Christmas things we can do. Right. We each bought the Christmas units, year 1 and year 2.
From Gather Round.
Gather Round Homeschool. So we have Around the World. We have the Christmas Nativity story. Yeah. We have all that we could be doing. So is that called winter break? I don't know.
Right.
But I have to say, if I want to define winter break as me not guiding my child's time at all, other than saying, hey, I have some crafts. Who wants to do crafts? Or who wants to make a gingerbread house? I would say I would do that probably 2 weeks before Christmas.
Sure.
And then probably by January 4th or 5th, I might say, all right, let's get back into doing math and science. Right. And, we're doing something new and exciting.
Right.
I just introduced Radish Kids in October and we got going in that. So that was an exciting thing for October, you know? And we're having our school day for Christmas in December. And then in January, there's probably something really cool I could kick off the new year with.
Right.
So that's what I need to figure out now. What can I kick off the new year to end the winter break?
We figured it out. Do you remember?
No.
We have our Harry Potter Yule Ball
we
Day.
do. We have our Yule Ball Day. Probably on one of those days.
It's already
January
scheduled.
5th.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Done and done.
That'll kick off our ending our winter break. And what a great way to do that. Yeah. So you can bookend your winter break with like 2 special events.
Right.
You can trail off, or I used to just do, that's how I interacted with my kids. So I used to just do it until my spouse was off of work by like the 22nd or 23rd, because we were doing Disney a couple times a week.
Right.
You know, like
you already had your fun days mixed in.
Yeah, I was just living life, you know, but now it is definitely getting more structured, and there's more curriculum, and there's more need to do things on a regular basis, in my opinion, for my kids. So, you know, I want the break.
Totally.
I want to just watch Christmas movies all day. So yeah, probably mid-December, you know, probably in just like a couple weeks, 1 to 2 weeks.
Yep.
What about for you?
I mean, I agree. I think we just naturally feel when we're ready for a break. Definitely by the week before Christmas, because usually other people are off work too, and so we're doing more things, or spending different days with the cousins, and then obviously, you know, we don't go back to school usually until the week or 2 after New Year's, just kind of enjoying the downtime again, because our holiday season is definitely super busy. So it's nice to actually get the break, because it doesn't feel like a break, really. Yeah. You know, it's just different things and Christmas, fun things.
Yeah, after Christmas is when it's actually peaceful.
Calm. Yeah. You know, but I also like to keep routines. And it's different because my daughter, you know, she wasn't always requesting screen time the way that my little guy is. He definitely has different preferences for screens. And so I know that if we don't get back into a routine, I just say yes. And then that's a habit I don't want him to be in. And so that definitely is changing my decision making over structure and routine. So we may be getting back earlier this year because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the more kids you have, I mean, I can only imagine what someone with 5 kids, how they have to solve their problems, you know. But I definitely love the idea of having at least 3 weeks off. You know, 2 weeks just does not feel long enough, because you're still doing the family stuff and you're not actually relaxing.
Totally.
And then after Christmas, that's when you're going on hikes, and you're just maybe going to the beach for us, you know.
Or continuing to enjoy your house being decorated. And so then you have to undecorate. And then you kind of get back to the way that feels, you know. And so I think it's just different for different people. If you don't have reasons to have a strict calendar, then don't.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We love your support. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, leave a rating and review to let us know how we're doing, and share our podcast with your friends who need a little community, humility, and joyful fun in homeschooling.